Hello and welcome back to Cabincast. I'm Oliver and I'm joined today by Tan.
Hello.
We are here to talk about, / I'm here to kind of listen, and Tan is here to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF as the cool kids call it. Security breach.
Very cool.
I mean, we might call it FNAF across this because it's just much faster to say than Five Nights at Freddy's. Which is the new game from Scott Cawthon Games.
Steelwool Studios. Steelwool Studios made it.
That's the one. You can tell how much I know about this already. That came out recently. And to be fair, I say that I have played some of FNAF. I've played FNAF 1, 2, maybe 3. I've definitely got 1 through 4. I don't know if I got and played 4, but I've definitely played the first 2 and possibly the third. And I've watched the GT, the game series on them, and some other stuff. And I've watched Markiplier play them.
There are a lot of game theory videos.
A lot. It's there's so many. It is a meme.
Yeah.
From how many there are, but I've seen those. I've seen some people play them. I know bits and bobs that are about what's going on, but I'm not necessarily a fan of the games themselves, though I do find the story surrounding it all quite interesting. What is your the word was in my head and then it left. Your
history.
That's the one.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not a long time fan. I only started in at the end of 2020, I think.
Right.
Or was it 2019? Yeah. I can't remember. Those 2 years have kind of melded together in my head. I think it might actually be the end of 2019.
Sure.
Nope, definitely 2020. Never mind, it doesn't matter.
Recent.
Yeah, but I sort of I don't know. I don't quite know how I managed to get into it again, but I just suddenly consumed every piece of media involving it, including, of course, all the game theory videos. So very suddenly,
sure,
I became a massive fan.
It was odd because I remember just you suddenly were speaking about FNAF, and I was like, this feels new. I don't remember Tan being a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's and stuff, but I guess they are, and I just never heard about it. But no, it just seems like it was a sudden thing.
I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to horror. So
that's
like the first time I watched the first few especially either Let's Plays or playthroughs or even playing it myself or the theory videos, I'd very much spend most of the time looking sort of at the floor, not at the screen.
Oh, fair.
Or scrolling down when I thought there was going to be a jump scare. I was a bit weedy. I'm still a bit, but I'm better than I was. That's for sure.
Nice.
It is.
You've grown.
It's a scary series.
I agree.
The first one has an incredible atmosphere and vibe. Plus the jump scares look pretty cool. The sound's a bit derpy.
The sound is so silly.
I
used to get the bus and people would play it on their phone. And so my only real knowledge of FNAF for the first kind of year or so it came out was just the music box sound.
Yes.
And then just on the bus. And I was just like, what the and they're just talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was like, I guess that's what it is, but
right up until that moment where you actually get jump scared.
Yeah.
It really nails the vibe.
No, absolutely.
That was the first one. The second one was a lot bigger in terms of how many animatronics and stuff there were, and how many
Yeah.
mechanics you had to keep a track of. But I didn't actually think it was that scary in comparison.
I think there's definitely something to be said, and I'm pretty sure I've seen people saying it about how the suspense and the horror of the first one is still basically unmatched.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, well, I think that the second one, you're doing so many different things that you
mhm,
don't have time to feel scared. Basically,
yeah,
you've got to wind up the music box, and then you've got to check all the side vents, and then you've got to flash Foxy when he comes up, and then you've got to, it's
yeah.
like,
And the
ooh, there's
mask
so
and
many.
it's like
Put the mask
when
on.
you get to Ultimate Custom Night, if you're mad enough to
Ultimate
do that,
custom night.
it's just
Yeah,
stress. It's not tension, it's just stress at that point.
but I guess
Uh,
that's the point.
but that is exactly the point. But yeah, it is interesting how, you've got FNAF 1 and it just kind of evolves and gets more and more and more and more complicated until it
FNAF
becomes a completely different style of game.
FNAF 3 though, pretty. That's one of the really good ones,
Yeah,
except for one small thing. the jump scare. He just sort of like waddles up to you, and he goes,
yeah,
"Wee."
yeah.
But aside from that, it's like genuinely, it's very difficult and it's quite scary
Mhm. Again, the atmosphere in that
because
one's pretty good.
yeah, you're just going up against one dude,
Yeah,
but he's like a smart dude.
he is.
The fourth one, you're in a bedroom
Mhm,
and you've got to close doors and listen for breathing and
mhm,
like check behind you every so often,
mhm.
which is very much uh, like my childhood, isn't it? So it's like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
there's a thing. Oh no,
yeah,
I gotta check behind me and under the bed and stuff. I'm
yeah,
terrified. That one's scary.
yeah.
Sister Location was like story mode. You had
It's
like a
quite
bunch of
different,
little
yeah,
mini games to do.
yeah.
And then number six was like a free one where there were four dudes and you had to just do some. You had to print out some files or something. It was a bit strange.
Yeah, after Sister Location, I kind of lose it. I know that there was FNAF VR,
Yes,
like, augmented reality, and there was FNAF World,
FNAF World.
and
That's a
there was
meme.
FNAF Pizzeria Simulator.
Pizzeria Simulator is FNAF 6.
That is FNAF 6.
It felt like it was meant to be an ending to the series, and then they just didn't end it,
Yeah,
which is fine, I guess. But
it has happened a few
FNAF 6
times.
kind of comes up in the story of Security Breach, so they do address the fact that it
Uh-huh.
feels like an ending, but it's not.
Well, there we are.
Yeah. And VR was the first one developed by Steelwool. They were
Gotcha.
sort of like, it was outsourced to them, and then they did a good job on it, so Mr. Scottman was like, hey,
Build a
fancy
game.
making another one?
Indeed,
And thus we get on to
we do.
the breach of security, which is known as Security Breach. And I think overall, I think it's a good game, but there's some bits that prevent it from being really good.
Mhm.
Um, bugs.
Yes, that's what I
It's a mess.
so what I was gonna say is, so Tanner's played through the whole game.
Hmm.
I have watched Game Theory, MatPat specifically, and Markiplier
I have also watched those, by the way.
play through, like, Game Theory the first couple of hours, Markiplier the first, I mean, probably not that many hours more, but because he apparently just is very bad at seeing exits and buttons. Like, it was hilarious where he kept having to come and edit and being like, "It's right there. I'm not gonna see it for another 40 minutes, but just so you know, it is right there. I'm just an idiot, and I can't see things." Um, but I've watched the first kind of 4 or so episodes. I think there's like 9 or 10. So,
10, yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen almost halfway through the game. It looks very pretty for a FNAF game.
It is
Uh,
breathtakingly beautiful,
yeah, it's got some
mostly.
really cool ideas. It's creepy. Um,
Yeah.
and there's it's buggy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate because the bugs do kind of take you out of that immersion. It reminds
Yes.
you that you're playing a video game.
Which is a problem, especially with a horror game that needs to be immersive.
Yeah. It's kind of an issue.
Yeah.
Um, and I imagine, so like if I were to, recommend it, I would say wait a bit,
Yeah.
because if they do fix him, which I imagine they will, but then Cyberpunk is also a game which has many bugs, which I don't even know if they're still fixing that. I don't know what's going on with that
I've been
one.
trying to, but
I've been
I don't
trying.
know. I mean, it's same with like Battlefield, uh, 2042 or whatever it is. They released that. That was full of bugs. They've been fixing it. EA's already talking about the next Battlefield. It's like, well, what's the point? We are at this
Feels
stage where
like
games are being pushed out so fast that they're not being properly tested.
it feels like every game these days is launching with bugs. Like even my baby Forza Horizon 5 had like completely broken multiplayer and almost still does.
It's like either you do your game if you're like an indie studio, like we've played Barrow Trauma, we've played Deep Rock Galactic, and all these games which have been in beta for a long time, but you've been able to play them. And to
Hmm.
be fair, actually, they've also been very unbuggy. But by the time that they're fully released, they have worked out almost all the kinks. And sure, there's the odd thing, but for the most part, they are set. Whereas with all these AAA titles, you don't do it like that. You've got to
You don't
just
really
have
get early
everything ready to
access.
go exactly, and then it's out. And then it seems very much like they just problem solve after the fact. Not the case across the board. Most of the games I've
Hmm.
played on PS5 that are multiplayer. I don't play multiplayer games, so to be fair, so that's why. But like when I played Ratchet and Clank when that came out, that I noticed basically no bugs and occasional little things, but for the most part, yeah, most of the games I played on PS5 haven't been particularly buggy. But yeah,
Hmm.
lots of these big multiplayer games, which I imagine comes with the territory. Um, lot more bugs in those, and security breach.
Yeah, that one's not multiplayer, but
It's not.
it is very ambitious.
It is.
And I guess it should take the time to say that it was delayed multiple times.
That is also true.
I think it was meant to come out like
It's a while ago.
early 2021,
Yeah, that
or maybe
sounds
no, I
right.
think even earlier than that. It was like 2020 it was meant to come out. And then it came out they got delayed 2 times. And it
Mm,
feels distinctly like something big changed or happened in between
mm.
when it was originally sort of slated to come out and
It
now.
was supposed to come out Christmas
Yeah.
of 2020,
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so it
but it
took
came out
a
almost
year.
exactly a year later, because 16th of December. Yeah.
Gotcha. Something big did in fact happen, and it was Scott Cawthon being cancelled. But
Yeah, that was
now's not the time to
complicated.
talk about
Yeah.
that. That is
I
a
mean, there was
very
COVID
complicated
as well.
situation. And COVID.
So yeah, all the things happened. Yeah. Yeah.
But I tell you what,
Scott Cawthon being cancelled is another one of those ones that's like, I wish this was a simple issue.
yeah, it's not.
It's not. Stop making it a simple issue, guys. It's not. But yeah, this is not what we're here to talk about. We just like the positive things here on Cabincast. So back
Yeah,
to security breach about
we're not going to attack or defend Scott
robots.
Cawthon.
No, we're just gonna leave it at what we've said and move on.
But what I do have to say is that after he retired,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it feels like something changed in the game because the first trailer, the vibe you get from it between that and now, something's different.
Sure.
In the first trailer, because I've watched these trailers so many times,
Of course.
because I was very excited for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a bunch of voice lines which aren't in the game, which is, I suppose, fair. Some of them, sometimes you get trailer exclusive voice lines, like
Yeah.
Mr. Afton at the start. But then you also have like the security guard in the trailer goes like, "I don't know what's going on, but we need to get out of here together. There might be more going on than you realize." Says that, and also you hear like a beefcake say, um, "If you two don't get what I want, then you will burn," or whatever. And we don't hear either of those voice lines in the game. Makes me wonder how different it was originally intended to be.
Seems like quite the rehaul.
Exactly, and I think they kind of couldn't quite get this entire overhaul of the story perfect, because there's some bits that just like aren't that well explored, like
Sure.
Vanny, the
Mm.
little rabbit murderer.
Yeah.
She sort of appears sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and then one of the endings is you save her, but there's not much. You, like, how do you find out about this? How does the main
Yeah.
character Gregory find out? It's a little bit weird,
Yeah.
and I think it was originally intended to be a bit longer, and you'd
Mm-hmm.
have this bit where you team up with a security guard.
Yeah.
Um, so the game feels a little bit weird sometimes,
Sure.
but
I guess we could
it's still
also
very good.
just quickly mention spoilers for Security Breach.
Spoilers. Oh
Obviously.
gosh, I didn't. I
Um,
forgot to say that.
I don't think we've particularly spoiled anything much so far.
Aside
Uh,
from one of the endings.
aside from one of the endings, but yeah, spoilers very much so, definitely from here on out, even more so than what there has already been. So you've been warned.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah,
but it is still really good.
yeah,
But it feels like it could have been way better,
sure.
which is, I guess,
Yeah,
that's just
it's the
something.
way the way things go sometimes.
Yeah, but we haven't got onto the story section yet.
We haven't. So
It's just a vibe.
yeah,
It's this it's supposed to be this big open world,
sure.
and you're like a tiny child, small little
Mm-hmm.
baby man in this big
Indeed.
mall.
Yeah.
And then you collect as you go through the story, which is like surprisingly linear.
Mm.
But then also it's got multiple routes, so it's a bit weird, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. You collect like security passes, so then you can access more areas as you go.
You
Basically,
can breach more security.
you can breach or maybe the child was the security breach all along.
I was gonna say, what is the security breach?
It must be the child, actually. It must be Gregory.
Because I was like, it's got to be Gregory, right? Because everything else is meant to be there.
I hadn't thought of that.
Literally
Uh,
restarted, and it's like, hang on,
Gregory is the breach.
Gregory is the security breach.
Because the opening cutscene, which is really cool, and it's got a nice banger of a song in it.
I love that opening cutscene.
It's so good.
It's
But it
great.
starts off with like a little concert, and then Freddy falls over, and you see through his vision. There's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, danger, breach, and then there's like a little outline of a child.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you're inside Mr. Freddy,
Yeah.
and he's like, whoa, hey there, little buddy.
So how did he
And then
get there?
Gregory's all sassy for some
Yeah.
reason. He's so sassy.
Do you ever figure out? Do you ever find out how Gregory wound up to be there?
No, he's just there. But
Okay.
the kid is in one of the endings. It is revealed that he's homeless. If you just escape at 6 a.m., if you just decide to escape instead of doing anything more,
Sure.
Gregory just sort of like runs and then goes back to his cardboard box and then gets presumably murdered by Vanny.
Wow. I mean, that does answer a whole lot of questions, actually.
It's one of the endings
But
where
also,
things
that's
happen.
pretty dark.
I'm not sure which ending is supposed to be canon, but you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he just snuck in because he wanted food or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge mall, and it seems like they haven't really hired any staff aside from one security guard who's a bit sus.
Yeah.
Because most of the staff are robot. They
Yeah.
robot, and they sort of like they go in their little circles, predefined patterns, and they've got like their robot with torch. They've got a torch,
Mm-hmm.
and if they see you, they'll jump scare you and then alert the main boys, the main
Which, in and
animatronics.
of itself, it's like, these are your, like, show animatronics? Why are
Yes.
they running security?
Yeah. I mean, Vanessa, the security guard, when you're hiding, Vanessa goes like, "I've told the other animatronics that there's a
Yeah.
small child loose."
Yeah.
I'm not sure why she told them, but she did.
I guess, like, maybe it's the idea of, oh, the small children like the animatronics. But then the animatronics are terrifying now, so they're not gonna show themselves, are they?
Or Chica does go like, "Your parents are looking for you,
Yes.
Gregory."
Yeah, exactly, but, like, not in a nice friendly manner. Okay, so apparently there is a true ending
There's a true
to
ending.
FNAF Security Beach.
Which one
Yeah.
is it?
It's the one, where Freddy is manipulated by Springtrap, who is actually the ghost of William Apston trapped inside a man called Bonnie suit.
Yes. Okay, it's that one. That's like the big ending.
With a mini boss, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, it's proper cool boss fight.
Uh-huh.
There's a bunch of moments in the game where you're stuck in a security office and you've got to do FNAF basically,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. It would
I
be
did
nice if
quite
they
like
were a
those
bit
moments.
longer,
Sure.
because the game is set over 6 hours. The game could be 6 hours long, but it's actually like 3 or 4.
Huh.
So maybe they could have, I don't know, padded it out a bit.
Yeah.
Or maybe they could have like Majora's Masked it, where you have like a time limit,
That would have been interesting.
like a real time limit that you've
Yeah.
got to. That would be pretty interesting. Maybe that was in the original plan. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but at the moment it's sort of like once you reach a milestone, the clock goes forward by an hour,
Yeah.
which is that's fine. It's only one night at Freddy's.
Mm-hmm.
It's only one night. The title lied.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they'd like story Gregory into going back 4 more times if he's almost getting killed the first time and it's
Yeah.
not his job.
Exactly. So.
There's yeah, those security office moments are cool, and that is basically what the final boss is, which is also really
Right.
cool.
Cool.
It's a bit buggy,
Sure.
but then they all are. But that one's like quite. I don't know if you've seen Markiplier try and do that bit, but
I've not got there yet, but I look forward to it.
it's where he's sort of like, because there's this one bit in it where Roxanne Wolf, who like you may or may not have torn the eyes out of,
Oh damn.
because Gregory is feral,
Yes.
and just like obliterates the other animatronics.
Mm.
And she sort of charges after you while you're in the office, and you just sort of have to hide for a bit. But it seems like you can't really. It's very difficult to hide in a room with no hiding spots.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it slightly wrong, she'll just sort of be there forever, and you're kind of soft locked.
Gotcha.
Which is unfortunate. And when I was watching Markiplier do it, that happened a lot. And then suddenly he won inexplicably.
Huh.
So we didn't get to see the whole boss fight when Mark was doing it, which is
That is a
unfortunate because it
shame.
is
Yeah.
very cool.
Mm.
You sort of you've got Springtrap, which is, as it turns out. All right. So as it turns out, right, the
Mm-hmm.
this new big pizzaplex was built on top of the location from FNAF 6, right?
Ah.
And FNAF 6, that location was actually not a real location, but it was a trap in order to lure the the spirits, in order to lure every character from the past into a maze, an endless maze, which
Yeah.
includes Springtrap, known as William Afton, also
Yep.
Michael Afton,
Yep.
also the puppet,
Yep.
also Molten Freddy, who is Funtime Freddy and Ballora and Funtime Foxy melded together, and
Yep.
also Scrap Baby, who is Circus Baby, who was part of the melted together, but then got ejected for some reason because they
Yep.
had a fight. And they've all been melded together except for Springtrap, like even biggerly melded in the fire that
Yeah.
Henry set off in the FNAF 6 location,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't work because they just
No.
got more burnt and melded together, and now you just have a big old blob of Freddies and children's spirits on one end, and you've got Springtrap on the other end, who's currently being like recharged using the electricity from the Pizzaplex in order to come back and do William Afton things again, which includes murdering children, I
Yeah.
guess.
Probably.
And so you've got this whole massive Pizzaplex, and then underneath it is those two dudes, and
Mm.
then like the big worm thing, the big blob of Freddy's and souls, kind of fights you a bit, and then right at the end, when you burn Mr. William Afton enough times, it just sort of kidnaps him, and then the game ends.
Huh.
The true ending is wild, and I love it.
So it kind of does a, I don't know. It's like the cluster.
It's like the cluster. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Checks out.
But the cluster decides to kill White Diamond itself.
Yeah.
Except I don't really know if it's kill because like his fate is mostly ambiguous, so he might come back, and he
Mm-hmm.
always does come back
He
because
always comes
he's
back.
William Afton,
Yeah.
and he always comes back.
It's true.
It's a completely wild ending, and I love it. And the
Yeah.
boss fight's pretty cool.
Sounds it. Um. So that's two of the endings. How many are there?
There's many.
Wow.
There's another ending that if you do 3 arcade games called Princess Crest 1, 2, and 3 in the right order, then then Vanny is broken from her curse, and you have ice cream.
Right.
That's the good ending. That's
Mm-hmm.
the 3-star ending, I think, because the arcade machines are quite hard to get to, and you know
Mm.
it's got a lot of significance because Princess Quest is like symbolic
Mm.
and stuff.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but it is funny that you can just like you can save this woman who's been like hyped up for many years since FNAF VR by just like playing some game.
It's
Bam,
like
saved.
Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village.
What happens in that one?
That's the massive vampire lady
Oh yeah.
who everyone was super obsessed over, and they noticed everyone was super obsessed over, so they made her a bigger part of all the promotional stuff. Um, and then she's the first boss that you come across, and then she's out of the game for the rest of it.
Oh right.
And it's kind of like, oh, I guess she's gone. She's still amazing for the time she's there, but it's like
That's
it
pretty
made it
cool.
seem like she was a much bigger part of the game than she actually was.
I see. It was marketing, I guess.
Yeah. So is Vanny also Vanessa?
Yes, there's
Okay.
another ending
Ah.
in which you, you go to the roof and Vanny's gonna kill you, and then Freddy goes no and dives and tackles Vanny, so they both fall off the roof and
Oh.
both die, probably presumably, and then like and then Gregory takes her mask off after climbing down, and it's Vanessa, and then he's like, "What?" Then the game ends. The last panel, because the endings are all comic strips, right? Except for some of them,
Because
so,
sure.
because for some reason, um, it's just Gregory with a bunch of question marks behind him and a confused expression, and then it ends.
Okay.
It's so good. And there's
It's
another one where they burn it down. Freddy like has a lighter in his finger and he burns down the whole place.
why does he have a lighter?
It's very very useful. They must have coded it into his animatronic suit
Ah, that makes sense.
for some reason. Freddy just has a lighter and they decide to burn it down.
Fair.
And there's
Fair.
another one where they escape in a car together.
Okay. So there's like 6 endings.
I think there's six. Oh wait, no. there's a,
Wow.
wait. There's one where Vanny goes. There's one where Vanny goes like she's got a button, and you
I see.
and the button controls a bunch of the staff bots, and then Vanny says disassemble Freddy, and all the staff bots go at him. Gregory runs. That's kind of and Freddy dies. That's kind of a bad ending.
Right, yeah.
And then another ending in
Oh.
which Gregory goes to Vanny's room, which is secret room in the building, and gets the remote. And then Vanny's like gonna kill him, but then he goes disassemble Vanny, and all the robots literally kill Vanny.
I was gonna say, but Vanny's a person, not a robot.
Yep, it's kind of brutal.
Okay.
Yep.
This game is it's certainly something.
Uh, E for everyone, or maybe it's PG. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So like 8 things. Okay. Wow.
The story is weird and good,
Yeah. So
and it
is
leaves a lot of questions, which is always
so like
nice from a FNAF game.
that is certainly true. So do we like find out why Vanny is Vanessa? Or is that still kind of an open
I
box?
think that comes from the. Okay, well, there's a lot of secrets in the game, but there's also
Sure.
it was teased at in FNAF VR
Right.
because in that game you could listen to some tapes, and it turns out that there's this like malevolent AI inside the game, which is
Mhm.
actually like an AI that was created by um, William Afton, aka Dead Man in a Spring Bonnie suit,
Mhm.
and it's like an AI version of him that when you play the game, uh, he takes over your brain, and that happened to Vanessa, who was working at Fazbear, who was a beta tester presumably, and
Ah.
then Mr. Afton took control of his brain and like started brainwashing her, and then you see in like the Curse of Dreadfare DLC in the VR game that she like makes a mask, and it's the same mask, and he's like, "Yeah, you, you I, you're, you, yeah." That was my impersonation of William Afton. Really,
Uh-huh.
really, really. But yeah, it's teased at there. So I guess she like got brainwashed and then decided to become a furry
Yes, that
and
is
make
what
a,
is
a
to have
cool
happened.
fursuit.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, there's a lot of secrets though in
Mm.
Security Breach. There's like
Mhm.
there's mini games and stuff. You can play golf.
Mhm.
There were some scrapped ones. I guess they ran out of time. There was supposed to be bowling
Sure.
and a couple more arcade games, and also kart. You could drive a kart
Mm.
in the kart racing, but that didn't make it. But I guess it might make it later,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
That's the hope. I'd like to see.
If
I
they
like
update it
driving.
with the other stuff. You do, it's true.
I like driving.
So, we've kind of done story. We've done some, but I guess any other specific things, details, mechanics, things like that that you enjoyed?
Oh, yeah. So each animatronic, aside from Freddy, obviously, has their like boss fight,
Yeah.
or well, not really fight, but that. So like Chica, you have to do a bunch of stuff, and you get some really nice looking food, and you put it in a trash compactor, and then you
Mhm.
lure Chica into there, and then she gets trash compacted,
Yep.
which is, you know, a terrifying
Yep.
cutscene. Um, Montgomery Gator, it's like a proper boss fight where you have to avoid him and then shoot balls into this bucket, I
Mhm.
think. And then when the
Yeah.
bucket's full, the it falls on him and he falls to his death.
Oh no.
And then Roxanne, you go to the cart thing and you've
Yeah.
got to, but you're too small. You're
Oh
not
no.
tall enough to ride the cart, so you have to get a bot to help you. And then he flings the cart into Roxy's face. And in all of those, um, you take a part of them and you gain like a bit of an ability when you're
Yeah.
Freddy,
Mhm.
when you're inside Freddy,
Sure.
so you can access more of the open world, a bit like with the security cards.
Gotcha. So
Yeah,
it's like like a Metroidvania in that sense, I guess.
I guess so. I didn't want to call it that, but I guess it is in like a sort of very loose sense.
Very loose sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But like at the same time, Freddy is just completely heartbroken that his friends have been
Yeah. It's
like,
terrible.
because he genuinely likes them, even if they're acting strangely. And I
Yeah.
love it. I love that bit. Harry's just like, whose eyes are these, Gregory? Whose eyes did you put in me?
Yeah.
Because he can jump scare you because you have to do like a bit of you have to do the upgrade yourself. You've got to connect wires and stuff.
Yes, I think I saw the first one of those.
So Freddy can actually jump scare you because those bits,
Mhm.
the parts of maintenance were really good in VR. So I imagine they were just like,
Mm.
well, they were good here. We'll do them good now.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's cool and
Mhm.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. The stuff with Freddy not being like quote unquote bad, I guess,
Yeah,
is something that I've found really interesting for sure.
it is interesting. I thought for sure he was going to like get hacked or something at
Mhm.
one point, and like we'd have to fend him off. But now he's just a chill dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he does kind of like Afton attempts to hack him at the end, but
Yeah.
if you're good at the game, then that won't happen.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
just a chill dude, and we all like Freddy.
Then Gregory is just there being like, take, cannibalize, destroy.
Yeah, he's feral.
Yeah. But if he's homeless, I guess he does what he has to do to survive. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose between which like animatronics you end up going for,
Mm.
and there's like a bunch of branching paths.
Sure.
And you can also play. You can also choose to not do any of the animatronics, and you can do like
Just run.
well, not quite, but you can do a shooty shoot,
Ah.
like the laser quest. That's what it's called, except it's
Right.
called
Yes.
Phaser Blast.
Pazzo Blast. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to like literally do that. There's like alien bots that go
Ah.
for you, and they go, "Oh no, I'm an alien." Ooh, ooh. I don't think that's exactly what they do.
Sure.
The bots are they have
Mhm.
that robotic voice, and then sometimes they'll jump scare you and go like, "Take a map. Take your complimentary map.
Take a map.
Take a map. Take your
Yeah.
free map." They
Yeah.
will literally jump scare you and do that. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It was
It's
really
pretty funny.
funny. Love them. It's scary though.
Yeah.
I jumped out of my seat.
They just want to give you the maps.
He was just wanted to give me a map.
So apart from the Roxy thing, what other kind of bugs, I guess, did you come across then?
Uh, well, most of the. So, have you seen some of the speedruns? You can sort of like clip through bits if you jump in the right
That
section.
makes sense. Yeah.
That's cool because I
Mhm.
always like a good speedrun where you clip through
Sure.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but sometimes like in the daycare section,
Mhm.
the moon animatronic
Yeah.
will like he's pretty scary, not gonna lie. But when you
Sure.
see him just sort of like running in place, stuck on a block, it kind of lessens the threat level.
Yeah.
He's just
He
like
gets.
dee 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 dee, hello, night night, and then he's just running in place on
Yeah.
a
He gets stuck on
treadmill.
things. Yeah. That
Yeah,
makes sense. Fair. Fair.
that's a really cool section, even if it
Yeah.
is a bit difficult. And also, why are they putting generators in a soft play area?
Yeah. It's FNAF.
I mean, those soft play areas are pretty lethal anyway. So
It's true.
I sprained one of those once.
I used to
Genuine
love them,
story.
but they can be dangerous. It's definitely true.
There was a slide, and it just like goes straight down. It doesn't have like a curve at the end of the slope.
Mhm.
And so I went down, and then it just yeets you directly onto the floor, and my foot was,
Yeah.
at the bottom. I wasn't going down head first, and so
Sure.
my foot just landed very badly
Oof.
and
Yeah.
completely sprained it.
Alas.
That was yeah, that was an injury,
Yeah. No, that's not fun for sure.
and that was
So
the last time I went to a soft play area. Maybe I
as long
should
as
go
you don't
again.
like that.
I'm
I
23.
I was gonna say there are certain places that have adult ones, which I kind of
What?
found amazing to be
Really?
honest, but that's a discussion for another time.
Oh my
Um,
gosh!
yeah, because it is the kind of thing where like I would love to still do this because I had so much fun on those as
Just
a
like
child.
get like that should be like a sort of stag do thing, shouldn't it?
I think
Where
it
just
is,
a bunch
yeah.
of rowdy 30-year-olds go like, yeah,
With the soft
let's
play.
go, yeah, let's go back to
Yeah.
Arctic jungle.
So, I guess considering there are multiple endings,
Indeed.
do you have any speculation for the future, where the series might go, all that kind of stuff, or is it hard to say in your mind?
Um, well, what I can say for sure is that they said they were going to do some DLCs.
Aha!
I'm pretty sure.
That wouldn't
Um,
surprise me.
Presumably, I guess they'd be like extra locations within the mall.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make a new game for a while because this mall, they put so much effort and love into the
Mhm.
modeling of it. They're not just going to let it go
No.
just because the game isn't perfect.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Um, They're also writing a bunch of books based in that location.
In this location, okay.
Yeah. Because you can never have enough Freddy books about the
Apparently
Fazbear
not.
Fright books are cool.
Have you read those as well?
I haven't because they are expensive, but I've watched the summaries
The summaries on them, yeah.
by Dorco.
Ah, Stalker, classic.
Yeah, he's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good.
Sure.
But so those are the things we definitely know, that they're going to do DLCs and they're going to do some
Yep.
books.
Mm-hmm.
What those DLCs are going to have, I don't know. There's
Sure.
probably going to be more arcade games because there's a heck of a lot of arcade cabinets that exist but aren't yet usable.
Yeah.
I don't know if like those are big enough to be called DLCs though.
Yeah.
Well,
Or they might just add them as a part of the DLC, I guess, but probably not the
yeah,
whole thing.
maybe. There were some speculations
Sure.
there were some sound files, right, in the game
Mm-hmm.
of Vanessa's and Vanny's voice actor like breathing, running, and jumping noises.
Ooh.
So there could be a DLC in which you play as the security guard.
That would be interesting.
I don't know whether it would be a prequel
Sure.
or a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
because if the canon ending, as you said, was the one where cool stuff happens,
Indeed, indeed.
Vanny might still be alive
Mm.
because it is that the canon one is not one of the ones where she dies,
Yeah.
and so you might be able to play as Vanny, and that might be
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that there's there's a bunch of CDs
Right.
hidden in the game, and if you go to the secret room,
Mm-hmm.
there's a CD player, and those CDs are recordings of therapist meetings with Vanessa, the
Ah,
security guard,
interesting.
and she's like, she's quite sort of. She doesn't say much,
No.
but you can tell a few things, and also the fact that it mentions that every that Vanessa's had has gone missing, which is
Uh-oh.
a little bit of an uh-oh.
Yeah.
I think the DLCs will give us more insight into what's really going on here,
That would make sense.
and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they fix the bugs first,
True, true. Yes, absolutely.
but I can't imagine they'll be making a new game for a while.
No. So maybe after all the DLC comes out, we'll have to do another one of these going over
Maybe.
that. But until then, just to round things off, for your personal enjoyment, out of 10,
Out of
what
10,
would you give Security Breach?
are half numbers allowed?
Chris does like just full on decimals, so do whatever you want. Yeah,
7.5.
that's what I thought you might be going for.
Yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
couldn't choose between 7 and 8.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's a good score for me. I'm not the sort of person who goes like 8 is a terrible game, 9 is a
Sure.
good game, and 10 is a very good game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I think a game is a 5, I'll put a 5.
What
But I
would be a
genuinely
5?
think it's quite good. What would be a 5? A game that's not that good. Oh,
I
you
was
were
thinking if you
looking for
had an example
specifics.
off the top of your head, but
Oh, um, I, I don't know.
no, me
Hoi
neither.
4?
Fair.
Sorry to any Hoi 4
I
I
was
just
gonna
don't enjoy
say,
it that much.
I imagine that some other people that we know might disagree with that, but
Dan doesn't like it, even though he's got like 1,000 hours in it.
Well, that's
for some
just
reason.
weird.
It is a bit weird.
But yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, there we go. That is FNAF Security Breach.
FNAF Security Breach. My voice is kind of dying after that.
Yeah, well, luckily we are done. So you can rest your voice now.
Time
Yeah,
to
very
read a bunch of fan fiction to stave off the needing for more content.
Needing for more FNAF stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave this one here. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. The uploads here are quite behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.